Greetings of peace, people. This is yours truly, Bionic Anseng Francis Coleman, and today we are going to talk about a theory that's still being talked about in the Final Fantasy, community, specifically Final Fantasy 8, and this is the SQUALL is dead theory. Okay, there's a lot of videos here in YouTube which explains this theory, but I got this video and I watched this 4 minutes and 50 seconds video clip, which I think summarizes all the theories and the factors which led to the conclusion that SQUALL was dead after the disc 1. And the author of this video, the 4 hours and 50 seconds clip, I believe he even said that he doesn't like the theory, but he still has to compile it in order to present the theory as clearly as possible. And I believe that he did a good job in compiling into a short list the important factors which led to the conclusion of some other Final Fantasy 8 gamers that indeed SQUALL was dead in this one. In the legal community, we have this principle: falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus. False in one thing, false in everything. And I truly believe that, by analogy, that principle should be applied in this case. Why? Because this theory is, really preposterous. It is really brave for someone to conclude that the makers of Squaresoft will try to make a hidden message throughout the game, and that SQUALL was dead after disc 1, and that the events of disc 2, disc 3, and disc 4 were SQUALL's dreams before he died. So this is, the disc 2, 3, and 4 was SQUALL's Final Fantasy, which is really, a very highly unlikely conclusion, which I believe this falsus in uno and falsus in omnibus, the way it should be applied here is that when one of the factors here is already debunked, the other should fall also. The other factor should fall also, because all the factors here needed to be correct and needed to be consistent in order for the whole theory to be accepted, and the whole hypothesis to be be a very good conclusion. So with that in mind, I will have this reaction video to the Final Fantasy theory SQUALL is dead. Okay, let's start. Okay, this is Adea. Okay, impaling a blizzard attack to SQUALL, which impaled SQUALL. Wait, are you telling me he survived that? Okay, let's see that. The SQUALL is dead theory. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's stop right there. First and foremost, that's a blizzard attack, a magic attack, and it pierced the the right side of SQUALL, not the center, not exactly the heart, but in the chest. And it's a magic attack. It's not a blade, it's a magic attack. Okay, let's continue. Let's see the main source of this theory. Okay, as I said, this is just a compilation. I challenge Adea, my wound, no wound, how? Okay, SQUALL's thoughts after the events of disc 1, as he is already in the prison. First of all, that's a logical place to be in if you're not dead. You're in a prison of Goldbadia because the sorceress put you in there. Okay, I challenge Adea, my wound, no wound, how? First and foremost, it's a magic attack. Alright, I have not seen, all of you are welcome to comment below the comment section if you have seen any in the RPGs in which the magic attacks have resulted into open wounds. You know, I think the essence of a magic is that it will hurt you, but you will not, you know, you will not show the effects of it physically, because it's magic attacks. You know, you will feel it, it's painful, but there will be no you know, effects on your body, unlike, you know, a sword attack, just like in the start of Final Fantasy, the introduction, where Cypher and Squall, you know, had a practice together, and both of them had their scars because it was physical attacks. It's not magic attack. Okay, let's continue. Okay, my wound, no wound, how? No wound is interesting. This is never brought up again for the entire game. Exactly, because it's a magic attack. Okay. The main idea is that throughout this one, the game is pretty good at keeping things quite realistic. It's only after the assassination attempt that things go a bit crazy. I mean, look. Okay, you got Evil Witch launches missile, flying army base, flying army base floats. Evil Witch has a flying army base too. Army base wrestling. Oh, that's very good. These two, but you know, like. Okay, the S-Star, Lunatic Pandora, outer space. Okay, let's just stop right there. You know, when they said that, you know, Final Fantasy VIII had a very good run in keeping things realistic in this one, we have to understand that it's still a Final Fantasy game. That's why you have this, you know, fire cavern where you will get a guardian force named Ifrit. You know, remember that Ifrit? You got Shiba and Quetzalcoatl. You know, it's a guardian force, still a fantasy game. You know, and as regards, you know, the technology, I believe in this one, they already have this underwater train from Balam to Timber. So I mean, what they're trying to do here is that they are trying to depict that everything from that happened from this 2 to this 3 is, you know, astronomical, and it's, you know, just a fantasy. But the missile attack, you know, there still needs to be a mechanical way to operate it in order for the missiles to, you know, be launched, and that's realism, you know. And that's why when the party of Squall and I think the party of Quistis, on the other hand, it depends on who you choose to stay on the base. I always choose Squall, Cell, and Irvine to go back to Balam Garden, and I always leave the girls, the ladies, to, you know, infiltrate the missile base. So the events in the missile base, still, you know, they needed to operate the missiles, and they needed to operate to the accuracy of the missiles, in which case if we, you know, if we operated it to its maximum, you know, fault, the missiles will not, you know, hit Balam Garden, which is still logical. You know, it's not really per se fantasy, like it's an out of this world you know, happening. And as regards the Balam Garden flying, again, there's a reasoning for that. There's a mechanical device that Squall and the others needed to operate before the Balam Garden, you know, flew. So, and again, that's also Galbadia. You know, the same thing can be said to Galbadia, and you know, Balam Garden traversing the water is still logical, considering that, you know, Balam Garden traversing the Balam region, and then they will not land on any land because there are no more lands, you know, after the Balam Garden. They went straight to water, so it's still logical, it's still not out of this world. So for them to, you know, to conclude that this was just the imagination of Cloud is, you know, I think far-fetched, because as I've said before, if there was no mechanical devices to operate, and Balam Garden just, miraculously fly, that's fantasy, and that will give more teeth to that, because that will not be realistic anymore. But since that there are mechanical things to operate, still realistic. Okay, as regards S-Star and the Lunatic Pandora, I believe the events, Laguna, there's another factor in which which debunks this Squall is Churi's dead, because of Laguna, Kiros, and Ward. So the events of Laguna, if you all remember, they have also traversed the Lunatic Pandora, the inside of Lunatic Pandora, and as you can see, they have devices in the Lunatic Pandora. Inside Lunatic Pandora, there are devices which can cause Lunatic Pandora to fly. So, Lunatic Pandora flying is not really that far-fetched and, out of this world. So, let's continue. The moon monsters. Deus Ex Machina. Okay, flying castles are the future. Okay, as I've said before, the events in Laguna's, the dreams of Squall for Laguna depicted the events in which Sorceress Adele was, transported to space, in which that is her prison, and there is nothing wrong, because in this scenario that shows that the monsters were going for the moon, because I think it was properly documented that there was an event, I think every year, or I don't remember the event, the period, but there was an event in which the moon, it involves the moon. It's just that Rinoa going into space, and unlocking Adele really made things worse in this tree. Okay, the basic idea is the Squall is killed by Dea and the remainder of the game. These two onwards, Squall's dying dreams as sort of light flashing before his eyes. This is a very very brave conclusion, very brave hypothesis. Okay, this will explain the radical shift from a realistic plot to one where more crazy, fantastic things happen. As I've said before, this is not really crazy, considering that, as I've said before, there are still mechanical things to operate in order for some of the Balam Garden and missile to, to happen. And as per the crazy, fantastic things to happen, hey, that's the nature of Final Fantasy. You cannot be just stuck in some of the trivial things that will happen in the game. You have to, level up the problems, so that the characters, the main protagonists and the others will be challenged, and as gamers we will be challenged to finish the game with all the challenges that is being thrown to us. So I don't know why are they thinking this. Okay, let's continue. Let's consider some other strange things. Okay, Cypher was still an asshole. It's clearly a good guy from the get-go. He risks his life to barge up Garden and Storm Timber to assist the elves. He's taken by the sorceress, and while there's still rivalry between him and Squall, there's still mutual respect. Squall, it's clear from the beginning. Okay, Rinoa is always full of confidence, smart. Your boyfriend? I think I was in love. Rinoa was in love with Cypher. I wonder how he felt. The other considered him an ally. He was from Garden, he was one of us. If I can, I wanna get revenge. Yet from these two onward, Cypher is an enemy, no doubt about it. They have just to fight him and nothing he ever does is directly questioned. Renoa also thinks Squall is a freak. Yes, I really, agree. And this what happened this one. So doesn't it seem convenient for Squall that Cypher becomes an enemy? Renoa completely forgets about Cypher and starts to fall for him instead. It does seem pretty dreamlike. First and foremost, here's why I think this factor is preposterous. I didn't see any in this one. Anything in the events of this one which suggests that Squall is in love with Renoa. I even, believe that Squall, when talking to Renoa, he's just like talking to Quistis. He doesn't care. He's cold. He was just looking for Renoa. Hey, you're a job. We needed to do a job. So it is far-fetched. It's really far-fetched for us to conclude, for anyone to conclude that in Squall's dreams, it is just, Renoa starts falling for him. Squall doesn't care about anyone in this game. I think in this one, it was already established that Squall was a cold guy, and he even told Quistis, "You go talk to a wall." You think a guy like that will just fantasize about Renoa just because of a dance? Okay, so and Renoa completely forgets about Cypher and starts to fall for him instead. That's what we call character development along the game. You see, Renoa, upon seeing Squall being hit by a blizzard attack, of course, he's a comrade. Renoa thinks of Squall as a comrade. So, it's natural that she will care about what's happened to him. And I believe that worry to Squall eventually turns into something else, because they have throughout the game they have surpassed a lot of challenges together. Like if you choose Renoa to be with Squall, upon going back to garden, there's this scene where the Balam garden is flying, and then you go to this door, and you'll see Renoa. Her hair is being caught by the wind, and she was very beautiful. Those are the factors that which led Squall and Renoa to be close. So okay, let's continue. Okay, the story begins to revolve around Squall. He's promoted by rookie Sid to the leader of everybody in Balam. Well, he was the team leader when Sid ordered them to go to Timber. He was the squad leader. So, how about the final battle when Ultimation is also almost defeated? She start talking weird. Okay, let's see. Reflect on your childhood, your sensation, your words, your emotions. Time, it will not wait. No matter how hard you hold, it escapes you. To aid this theory, she could be talking directly to Squall. This is the end of his dream. He is dying. No matter how hard he tries to hold on to his memories, they will escape him. Okay, so another illogical thing. We all know that in this one, the main antagonist is Edea. Squall never seen Ultimecia. So why is it now that we have to consider that it is Ultimecia that's talking to Squall? Is it the fact that Edea was, possessed by Ultimecia? Is that what this theory is, trying to suggest? Okay, let's continue. That will also give a very interesting alternate explanation for the ending. Okay, Renoa. You know, this Squall cannot picture Renoa's face anymore. His memories are leaving him. Well, this will be a good theory if it's not explained that the use of the Guardian Force, sometimes does some bad things as regards your brain. You will lose memories when you use Guardian Force. I think that's well documented in the game. If there was no such statement in the game, this will be a compelling argument. This factor right now will be a compelling argument. Okay. Okay, so these are the events, the events in this one. Oh, the choker. Okay, but this is it. Look at this. Renoa with the birds, and her hair's flying. That's the event of these two. So if indeed, this is really a memory of Squall, this happened in these two, not in this one. So again, this really negates the fact that Squall is dead, considering that it's inside his memory. It's not a dream, it's inside his memory. If it's really the life flashing before your eyes thing, this is this too. This happened in these two when the Balam Garden started to fly. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so almost everything is in this one. Okay, except for that, light flashing before your eyes much. Most of the ideas shown came from SQUALLisdead.com. Go check. I found very good. They say that if this theory is true, then majority of this game is Squall's Final Fantasy. Very interesting. I think it's a good theory, but I personally don't like it. Yes, as I said a while ago, the author of this video, who compiled these videos, really didn't like the idea, and I don't think it's what they were going for. But still, discussing like the little nerdy fans we all are, and I think that's the test of being a Final Fantasy VIII fan. If you get obsessed with the little things, the attention to detail. So this theory, I believe, cannot be, this theory is not correct, because as I've said, all of the factors must be consistent with each other. If one factor is debunked, then the others are debunked as well. And to summarize, I have debunked the theory that from the events after this one, everything just become just crazy, fantastic. No, it doesn't. It's still logical. It's still realistic. The missiles going to Balam and Trabia Garden, still logical. They still have to operate some things. Balam Garden flying, still logical. They need to operate something deep inside Balam Garden in order for it to fly. The S-Star, a very highly scientific advanced city, still logical. The events going to Ragnarok, it's still logical. Everything is still logical. So that is one factor that's debunked. And the other factor is that conveniently Cypher being the bad guy, and then Squall, Renoa conveniently falls in love with him. As I've said before, there's nothing to indicate that Squall cared about Renoa in this one, other than the fact that Renoa was a client. So I don't think it is logical for Squall to dream that Renoa will love him instead of Cypher. That's the second one that is debunked. And as regards the third video, the third factor is that light flashing before your eyes. usually when you have light flashes before your eyes, I think the concept of that is what happened to you before is the things that will flash before your eyes, not necessarily what happens to in your dreams. That's, I think that's the overall concept of that. And yet during this segment in which it is said that Rinoa, the videos of Rinoa's are Squall's light flashing before her eyes. There's a portion of that is when the Balam Garden's already flying, Rinoa was there. So again, that happened in these two, not necessarily in this one. So that means that Squall was alive in these two. Okay, so I believe this video is already comprehensive enough, and the most important factors have already been laid out by the author of this video, and I commend him for it. And I truly believe that this theory is not correct. To be quite honest with you, I really would believe the theory that Ultimecia was Rinoa instead of this. Okay, so again guys, thank you for watching this game analysis. And if you like this game analysis of mine of the theory that Squall is dead, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel Bionic Anseng and hit that notification bell so you will be updated to my latest live stream, game analysis, trailer reactions, and game uploads of all the games that I've been playing for trophy hunting. Thank you everyone, God bless, and stay safe out there.